Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the Face Shop Blush Pops. I always call them cheek pops, but those are the Clinique ones. These are a really similar looking style though. I feel like the Clinique blushes are supposed to be daisy printed and these are probably like a frangipani, I would say, but obviously I bought them because they are flower printed blushes. I think that they are so cute and the shade range looked really lovely as well, and surprisingly probably my least favorite shade is the pinky pink, which I thought would be my favorite, and yeah, like that's so not like me. There's also no orange which for me is great because I do not like orange. At the moment I am wearing the last one, which is Coral Pop on my cheeks. It's a very, very dark reddy coral colour, but if you use a light hand I think that it just looks so pretty. So the product description says, look pretty like flowers with this blusher embossed with a floral motif. The painterly colours keep cheeks looking fresh, matte and bright. Easy to use even for beginners. So the packaging of these products is very simple. It just has a plastic lid with no print on the top because obviously we want to see the beautiful embossed print of the blush on the inside. I really, really like the floral print on these. I think that they are gorgeous, and if you're looking for that Clinique look but don't have the money for the Clinique look, then these are totally what I would recommend. There are 5 shades in the range and I think that they are all really beautiful. On the arm swatches I did swatch them twice I think, so I'm showing you the second swipe through for these ones. But in general they are really pigmented and some shades need to be built up and some shades need to be sheared out. So this is shade number 1, which I don't know the actual shade name of. So what I'm going to do with this one is, because I find that the blushes grab quite a bit, I'm going to tap the blush brush into the blush and then tap it on the top so that I don't have too much pigment on my brush. And then I'm just going to apply it in little circular motions. And that is one side all done. So I find that tapping the brush into the top of the lid makes it so much more easy to apply. Otherwise I feel like these really grab onto your foundation, especially if you use something that has a more dewy finish. Because I'm wearing a MAC Studio Fix Fluid foundation today, it doesn't grab as much because it's already really well set and it's not sticky. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So this shade is really pretty. It's a really lovely like strawberry pink. It doesn't look too pink on my skin, which I actually prefer. So it doesn't look like really, really unnatural, but it is definitely a nice shade in general. So here's the colour a little bit more close up. So this is number 1, which is actually called Pinky Pop. I think on camera it looks quite pink, but in real life it kind of has more like of a peachy undertone. I think that it does look pretty, but it almost looks a little bit yellow or orange on my skin. I'm not particularly sure about this one. Shade number 2 is Melon Pop, which is a really pretty peachy colour. This one I find that I have to do the same thing as the pink. I need to tap a little bit of the excess off onto the lid so that it actually doesn't show up too much on my skin and grab. So I'm really, really lightly dusting this over my cheeks. So that is what Melon Pop looks like on one side. I find this one a little bit harder to see, so that's what my cheek looks like without and with. Overall, I do like the colour of this one. I find it a little bit more difficult to apply. And it doesn't show up quite as much as I would like it to. But this is number 2, Melon Pop. The next shade is shade number 3, which is called Nude Pop. This one is actually a really interesting colour. It kind of shows up as brown on the swatches, but as a blush it actually looks really nice on my skin. This one I don't feel like I have to tap off because it is a kind of a lighter colour. I can apply it straight to my cheeks and it like doesn't really show up that much. So that's like 3 layers of product. So you can see that it is a slight browny colour, but it doesn't really look like that much on my skin. So I thought that I might have to use it kind of more like a bronzer, but it actually kind of just looks like a very natural, like nothing is there sort of colour. I don't know, I feel like I cannot see that at all on camera, but I can definitely see it in real life because I can see like a really nice line there where my foundation is a little bit thicker and it's clung a little bit more to that foundation. So I think you can see it a little bit more. So this is Nude Pop, which is shade number 3. Surprisingly, I actually do like it. I feel like it looks very natural. It's not really pink or like brown. It's kind of like a nude peach kind of colour. I don't know. I really like it, surprisingly for me. Shade number 4 is Lavender Pop, which is a really pretty purple. It is a very pinky purple, which does make it look a little bit more natural on my skin, which I prefer over like a blue toned purple. The blue toned purples always look like I'm trying to color correct my skin, which I don't want to do. So that is Lavender Pop on this side. Maybe the problem with like there's like one little streak here where blushes are just not wanting to apply to it, but that's fine. I think you can still see the color. So this is what Lavender Pop looks like on both of my cheeks. I think it's a really pretty color. I think that it doesn't look too purple. It still has that like pink with a hint of purple sort of color. So I definitely like this one. Then last but not least is number 5, which is Coral Pop, and this is a darker reddy coral. This one is so deep, so I do need to tap a lot of the excess off onto the cap, which yes will make the cap sturdy, but you can tap it off onto the back of your hand if you really want to. And then I just need to use a really light hand to apply this one, otherwise I will look like a clown. However, this shade would be really good on people with deeper skin tone, so don't let the fact that I need to use a lighter hand put you off. It's just because I have quite light skin and I don't want to look like huge, like I have red cheeks, because this is obviously pretty far away from my skin tone. It is such a pretty color though, I really do like it, and it's something that I probably don't have in my collection already, although I think it might be really similar to one of the Etude House Dreaming Swan blushes, so I'll have to swatch them and have a look. But this is what Coral Pop looks like on my skin. I think that it looks really lovely, and it actually really suits the lipstick that I'm wearing today too. But just be aware that if you have lighter skin, you will need to use a light hand with this one, as it is very pigmented. So overall, I'm a little bit on the fence with these ones. I don't think that they're easy to use for beginners, because with some of the shades you really need to build it up with layers. So the ones I'm talking about for building up would be these two, the Nude Pop and the Lavender Pop. Just because they are lighter shades, they just need to be built up a little bit, so you can use 2 to 3 layers of the blush without looking overdone, especially on pale skin, though I feel like on a deeper skin tone you will really struggle to see these. However, the opposite is true for the other 3 shades. You've got Coral Pop, you have Melon Pop and Pinky Pop. These ones are quite pigmented, and I feel like I need to shear them out onto the lid or onto the back of my hand before I actually apply them onto my skin. I also find that these really stick to foundations, so if I'm wearing a dewy foundation like the Etude House Double Lasting Serum Foundation is what I tried some of them with, I found that it really clung to patches on my skin, and they weren't actually that effective in that way. I did not have any troubles with the 2 sheerer shades, which I almost dropped, oh my god. But it was the 3 pigmented shades that were the most problematic. I think for me, if these weren't so cute, I would be very quick to dismiss them and say that they're not good quality, because they are a little bit more difficult for me to use. And trust me, I have tried a lot of blushes in my time. However, they are really beautiful, and the print isn't coming off too bad. They are a little bit like speckled, especially the ones that I have to use more, so Nudie Pop is looking a little bit worse for wear, but because the other ones I can only dip my brush in them really lightly, the floral motif is still nice and clear on those, and I think that they look great. And I feel like that does lean me more towards wanting to make them work because I find them so pretty. And that essentially isn't actually a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having things in your life that you look at and say, oh my gosh, those are beautiful. It's like having a beautiful painting, except for me, I have them in the form of cosmetics instead. So I will continue to work with these and to see if I can make them work a little bit better for my skin. I have been using them for a couple of weeks, and yeah, like I said, 50-50. I don't reach for them, but in general, in comparison to things like the Stylenander blushes that need to be sheared out or built up also, I think that these are on a very comparable level, because the quality of the blushes is not amazing, but the packaging and the way that it looks makes up for that disappointment for me. For recommendations for blush in general, if you want something that is easy to use and looks beautiful, my absolute holy grail for blushes would be the Can Make Matte Fleur Cheeks, because those are so easy to use, they look so flattering, and they've got a really beautiful floral pattern as well. So, you know, they look pretty too, but those are definitely the ones that I would recommend if you're having trouble with blushes and want something that's easy to use. I wouldn't recommend these for ease of use, but I would recommend them because they're pretty. And as shallow as that may sound, that is the honest truth in my opinion. But that is it from me today. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment below. Which side are you on? Is the prettiness of the blush worth it, or are you more put off because it's a little bit harder to use? I am very interested to see how you guys think about these things. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!